Hello, hello. I'm here. A little late. That's just how it is sometimes. Because actually, technically, I don't stream on Mondays. But I did miss 2 days last week, and I missed Sunday because of deadlines and such. You know how it be sometimes. Yeah. Hello, hello. Alright. Let's see. Turn on or switch to this scene. Wow, it's me. Amazing. That's pretty freaking sugoi. And then we'll move to this screen. Boom. Alright, sick. So... Oh, hold on. I need to find a good YouTube video to watch just to give me some entertainment in the background. It's not even entertainment at this point. It's just like I need the latent background noise of something that is not actually worth my full attention, but also is more than just, you know, pointless drivel. Right, because I know some people, they like to watch like real TV shows and whatever, but it's, I don't know. Whenever I'm watching like a real TV show, like I tried to watch Better Call Saul just like in the background, but one, that show is actually like really good, and two, I felt like I was just really confused. Like there were like a few episodes where I had to mute it, so I just left it on. And then I came back to it, and I was like, I don't know what happened. Who is this guy? Who are these people? It doesn't make any sense, you know? It's always kind of hard to say. So then I had to go back and look up or rewatch that stuff. What a pain. Yeah. So that's why I don't watch real TV shows anymore as my background noise. Instead, we just watch Let's Plays on YouTube like a true degenerate. Okay, so this is where we left off. This UI is still pretty ugly as well. I'm gonna change this. I think this doesn't make a lot of sense. I think what it makes more sense for this UI is probably the same kind of UI that I'm doing for this stuff, right? So you have like a little tree structure here on the left, right? And then, you know, the rest of your UI on the right. Oh, and also, look at that. Transparency just kind of works. How cool, how neat. It's not actually toggleable at this point in time. I'm pretty sure it's just hard-coded. Yeah, it's just hard-coded right now. Is it here? Is it here? Yes. Yeah, so transparency currently hard-coded, but that's fine. It's not too hard to set this from the config. Actually, yeah, well, let's do that right now, I suppose. Scene listen values. Default runner, scene listen values. Config changed. Event published. Scene listen values. So these, let's start adding some comments. Since now that we're at a workable state. See and listen to values. So these are like for Alright, so move model, rotate, zoom, and then pose model. Pose model will always come with an additional little flag. Yeah, whereas these must all come from the config file, or the config whatever. Okay. So this is in metadata, I think. Let me see. Metadata. Yeah, transparent background. Oh, and world environment. This is something that we should probably hold on to as well. Okay. Or actually, it doesn't need to be something that we hold on to. It could just be its own object, this world environment thing here. And then that world environment thing will listen specifically for like these values here. Yeah, that could work. It could work. And that would simplify some processing on my side, but I've been trying to avoid doing that because it splits off too much stuff. Hard to describe. All right. Let's see. OS. So we need to subscribe to these values. How am I setting up the initial stuff? Setup config. Okay. Okay, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Oh, and they're right here. Use transparent background, use FXAA, MSAA value. That needs to be changed. Okay, yeah, so we'll get rid of these. That's easy enough. Python path still needs to be here, but on config changed, project settings. Oh, when the heck did I do these? What the heck? That's a bit interesting. I don't remember doing this anywhere, but whatever. Suppose we can take this out then. Or actually, so we subscribe and then I need to pull those values directly anyways, right? Yeah, okay. So if I'm pulling these values anyways, default runner trait, runner trait. So it goes setup logger, setup config. I feel like this actually should be set up afterwards. Yeah, okay, so this should be like that. So we set up the logger. That's first and foremost. Then we do the pre-setup, regular setup, post setup, and then set up the config. And then in the setup config portion, right, if we do that, nothing changes, right? Which is nice, but here in setup config, what we'll do here is we'll subscribe to these individual values and then just set the value. Yeah, easy enough, easy enough. So on config changed, is it you? So value and then signal name. So then the value should be AM config manager get data I. So this is potentially pretty dangerous. So we'll do this like that. am cm get data eval, where if type of value is equal to type nil, then we'll just continue. And also, I think that's an error. Logger error. Config value is null. I think that makes sense. Otherwise, we'll just feed the value in like that. Beautiful. So these values should be set automatically now. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, then I just need to set these somewhere in the settings menu. So anything in settings will be 1. Those settings will map back exactly 1-to-1 to these settings. So that's the same menu. That's the idea, is that this menu should be the same as the outer menu. We'll get around to it. Get around to it. So default runner screens, GUI, default GUI. Okay. Menu bar. There's nothing in the menu bar, right? Yeah. These are all just a bunch of buttons. Okay, so pop-ups. So settings doesn't actually need to be a pop-up. I think. Yeah, this doesn't actually need to be here. So actually, yeah, we can move this out to somewhere else. It's not a pop-up. It is a GUI thing, but it is also supposed to be like a So pop-ups. Where is this used? If we push this out here, then this will break menu bar, right? No? Maybe? Oh yeah, 100% this breaks this. So we'll grab that. Like so. And then in landing screen, settings, tab container, runners, so hide runners, show settings. Then here, we'll just kind of drop in here. Oh, look at that. So that should just work in 2 places. So it'll be the same settings menu, except there's nothing here, but ignore that for now. Then we can go into settings. It's the same settings menu. Oh, baby. I actually really like that design. So instead of building bespoke components, or instead of building bespoke components for every set of functionality I need, and also instead of like abstracting out all the UI components to be, you know, like building blocks, like I've kind of reached a happy medium path. So I'm still building out individual components, kinds of, but it's more like I'm being able to reuse scenes between all other scenes pretty easily. I'm not sure if that was the most eloquent way of putting it, but it's what I got. Let's see. I feel like for this, I want to change this as well. Like this doesn't really need to be a separate scene though. But what does my code for handling this look like? It's actually not so bad. Not so bad. Yeah, because then these are just like buttons, right? Yeah, these are basically just a bunch of buttons. So if I change this, well, one, I should probably do settings first. Let's do settings first before we get too twisted. Base pop-up tree layouts. Base tree layouts. I think I need to refactor that as well. I need to rethink this part. I need to rethink this part because I should be using this base pop-up tree layout for all the associated tree layout stuffs that I'm working with. So we can abstract this out to here. New script. We'll call this... Oh no, we're diving back into the depths of object orientation. Base layout, and we'll call this a control. Something like that. Right, so we have a base layout, and then we'll have base tree layout, and then this will be the base tree layout. I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Base layout, and then base tree layout. And then it doesn't really matter whether or not it's a pop-up or not. Yeah. So base tree layout, this extends. Hold on. Undo me. We'll give base layout. Get him, duck. Slay queen. It's a slay with 2 Y's, thank you. How are you, schmelly orc? It's a little lewd, but maybe that's just me being a weirdo. Being stinky. All right, well, have you considered taking a shower? Perhaps a bath, and you can sell your bath water to weirdos on the internet? I mean, all the more power to you if you yourself purchase other people's used bath water. That's pretty wild. You know, don't let me tell you what you should or should not do. Base tree layouts. I actually kind of dislike this. Like, this doesn't need to be... it's fine. Yeah, I don't, as you may notice, I don't usually stream on Mondays, but here we are regardless. Mostly because I missed a bunch of days last week, and I missed Sunday, which is yesterday, because I had to, you know, do the usual, avoid getting fired at work, you know. And I'm happy to report that I avoided a demerit. I can actually afford a few demerits, I suppose, which may or may not be something to really brag about. Considering that I think I do at work have... I have a few demerits. But not enough to prevent me from getting... The standard quarterly bonus regardless. Finish the game, duck, chop chop. It's not a game, Mom. It's this thing. Check this out. Wow, look at this. So if I stop tracking here, so stop tracking. Go back to here. I'm mind flooded because transparent background kind of freaks me out. Look at this. So we run this. Give it the old start, and look at that. That's pretty much it. Look at that. That's more or less what you would expect from an application like this. And then you have the bone menu, so you can see which things are being tracked. It's slightly less informative right now because I still have not implemented the info page, which if you have used this application before, OpenCFace GD, you might notice that this displays a lot more information to you up front. The idea here is that I shouldn't do that to avoid flooding people with information. But yeah, we are almost there, I guess. We're getting there. It's running in debug mode, so it's a bit slow, but that's fine. All right, we'll run back to here. So yeah, I'm trying to finish this up before the end of June, and preferably like by June 20th. So I have about 2 weeks left because I need to cut together a trailer or whatever so I can submit this to the Godot 2022 show reel, because they are accepting non-game submissions explicitly. So I think this would be a good opportunity. All right, anyways, get rid of that. All right, base tree layouts. Hello, Needle Mouse. How are you? Let's see, base tree layout. Anywhere that's using base pop-up tree layout needs to be replaced. So we'll look for you. Hello. That's a big resolution monitor. It is a very big resolution monitor. I'm actually slightly disappointed in myself because my other monitor, oh, that's my game. my idle game I just kind of leave open in the background. See, this one is just an HD monitor, but this monitor is 4K. And then I have another monitor on top of it that's also only HD, 1080p. And then the monitor below it is also only 1080. Well, no, I think the monitor below it is, I guess is it 2K? Because it's a Huion drawing tablet. This one, base tree layout. Change you. Change you. Change you. Save everything. Yeah, but I wish I got another one of these monitors, even though like this monitor is really expensive. It was like $450 US for this 4K monitor. I mean, it is a very good monitor, but I mean, considering I only paid like $100 for the other ones. Trying out Fedora right now. DNF is slow, but I fixed it. Yeah, DNF is always kind of slow, but you don't really spend that much time every day just updating. So it's not something that I usually take into consideration. All right, go back to here. Just make sure everything still loads in. All right, this loads in fine. This loads in fine, even though I switched their underlying implementations, even though the underlying implementations are basically just copy and pasted. All right, base pop-up tree layout. So get rid of this. We might need to reload. So I'm gonna reload the editor. So 1 kidney for a monitor. Yeah, well, I mean, that's why you have 2 kidneys, right? So you can have one 4K monitor made by LG, renowned Korean company that is not Samsung. Resource loader. Yeah, and then I guess if you don't mind getting like dialysis once a week, you could have 2 4K monitors made by renowned monitor manufacturer, LG. Not sponsored. I already only have 1. Oof. Feels bad, man. That's rough. That's rough. So like, did you sell your kidney for a 4K monitor though? Yeah, I guess that's a little too dark. Base tree layout. All right. So this is where we're at. There is your screen. So it expects a very specific layout. This does expect a logger to be set by the base pop-up, but let me see. Base layout needs to have base pop-up tree layout. We can get rid of that. That's gonna go away. Surprisingly, I have 120 gigabytes in Fedora, but in Arch, I get 106 gigabytes after install. It's probably because you, I don't know. I mean, what DE are you using on Fedora? Are you just using one thing? I have no idea. I think Fedora generally is known for being a bit more bloated, isn't it? Because it comes with a lot more bleeding edge packages. Another one I gave from my college education. Oof. That's rough. That's rough. I suppose you didn't want the burden of a student loan. Could be a smart choice. I can't say. I've never sold a kidney. I did know a lot of people during university who sold like blood plasma. I know that's not nearly the same thing, but Gnome is extra bloat. Gnome is pretty bloated. But I mean, it is also like backed by the biggest open source company in the world. So how bad can it be, you know? I feel like I'm missing something. Base pop up. All right, so this base pop-up inserts a logger into whatever it needs. Okay. So okay, so I don't need to look at this anymore. But I do need to start thinking about how I'm going to get a logger into base tree layout. To think about it, base layout. We'll go here. Base layout. Yeah, but as mentioned many times before, on any of my Linux distros, I just use XFCE for. The Windows XP of desktop environments. Except on my one Arch install, and then also on OpenBSD, I use i3 gaps. i3, pretty sick. Yeah, want minimalism? Use i3. Yeah, use i3 or any of the other derivatives like BWB or what was it called? WPSM, something like that. BWPSM. What is it called? BSPWM. Yes, it was BSP, binary space partitioning window manager. Yes. Right? Is that what it's called? Or that's what it stands for? Binary space partition that's what it stands for, right? Binary space, yes, binary space partitioning window manager. Oh baby, I don't know why that was in my head. Like I can't remember the actual acronym, but once you ask me like what does the acronym mean, I've got it on lock. I don't know why. The acronym, no chance. I don't know how I get less storage taken up even with no, but on Arch I get a lot of storage taken up. It's binary tree basically in BSPWM. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it like the way it works is it, well, the repo had a drawing anyways. But it's just winds down, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like how i3 does it, where it just kind of, I don't know, just send me, insert me wherever, and we'll figure it out. Let me see. Func setup, and then we'll have pre-setup, post setup. Most of these are not super necessary, but it makes it really, really easy to do inheritance in Godot. Pre-setup, regular setup, and then post setup. Because these only run once, so I don't feel too weird about having so many layers of indirection, right? Because these are just the setup scripts. And then also, because these are UI elements, the plan is in the future to cache the results later. Not override. All right, cool. So this one has setup in base tree layout. Then for settings here, this one extends base tree layouts. Base tree layouts has the setup function overridden. Then this one will have pre-setup. Okay, awesome window manager. I've heard good things. There's like another one. I've seen this one several times on the Unix porn subreddit. It's like Herb. Yeah, Herb's left. Google is listening to me talk in real time. How cool. Herb's left WM, which I think is based off of BSP WM, but it's like a different spin off it. Look at that. You might be interested in trying this out. I've never tried it myself though, so I can't speak to it. But it looks like it's like a mix of VSP WM and like i3 gaps, I guess. Mid. What's mid? Are you going mid? Filthy AP carry detected. I mostly play nowadays. If I ever play a MOBA, I either like to play top or jungle. If I play with a good team, I like playing support. But no, playing any of the carries is not really my thing. Although top could be, you could be carried by top, at least back in like season 3 of League. I've never really played too much Dota. I was kind of bad at Dota. Alright. Preset up, so logger is equal to logger new. That's pretty much it, right? Give me one sec. Hides roots. Really? So this one doesn't have a tree? Like I know where this is happening. Right, this is probably in Yeah, this is in... are we in settings? Yeah, we are in settings. Okay. Huh. So tree hide root is equal to true. Why? So we should have already varred it. Do you feel like games these days in the market are either just grindy games or the same old boring FPS games? I think games that are coming out nowadays are at least not the AAA stuff. AAA stuff is kind of garbage nowadays. But I think like the double A, basically like super indie, that stuff is pretty good. Or even like I guess if you're like talking about, like I'm trying to think of a triple A game that was really really good besides Elden Ring. Elden Ring, very good. Also, I need more time to get back into it. So give me one sec. I'm wondering why this isn't working. Logger. So we have a logger. This is settings GD. Rocket League, but it's not new. Yeah, well, Rocket League also isn't triple A, right? It's just a big indie studio. A lot of these bigger games nowadays are like From Software is more or less a triple A studio at this point, right? Because they make Dark Souls. They got a large budget. Like the direction of Sonic. Do they even make Sonic games anymore? Have they made a Sonic game recently? What was the most recent Sonic game to come out? I think the problem with AAA releases nowadays is that it's just too expensive to take a risk, if that makes any sense. Right? Because like with better technology, right? I guess the higher consumer expectations rise, but because of that, right, the better technology and rendering and all that means that you also need to also push better visuals. Like you don't just get better visuals because the technology's there. No, you need to also have the art assets to make use of the technology. So it's also way more expensive as well. So like, you know, like Battlefront 2 looked great, but like, you know, gameplay was kind of boring. Making it more friendly. Sonic Forces, they're making Sonic Frontiers. What was Sonic Forces? Oh, it was this one. Was this the one where like Knuckles had a bandana? I feel like I remember. Or no, this is the one where you could create your own character, right? I've never played. I haven't played many of the more recent Sonic games. Yeah. There's no tree here, by the way. Hold on. So, self. This is the object. And then this should be running in. Set by the base pop-up. The logger is not. Or is it because of this it's this onReady tree thing here? Because this does not. Oh yeah, I remember. I've run into this before. So when you go with this implementation of it, yeah. So this one doesn't use any onReadies either. So if I want to set any of these things at runtime, right? I need to. Need to do tree is equal to tree as tree, not technically necessary. Yeah. There's a Kirby game recently for Nintendo Switch. I thought, wasn't that Kirby game like good? I also heard like Triangle Strategy also came out somewhat recently. I heard that one was very good. That's on my list of things to play. Because I really liked, well, I didn't really like, but I thought Octopath Traveler wasn't bad. I think it just, It had too many things. What the heck happened here? Oh, did it like squish itself because there was nothing to display? Eh? So settings, what happened? Settings, tree. Eh? What happened? Why is there nothing here? Or does it really squish itself if there's nothing to display? That doesn't make any sense. Eh? Oh, what the heck? Yeah? Oh, did I mess this up? All right, give me one sec. I think I made a huge mistake. Landing screen. Bring me back to here. Settings. No, that's right. No, that's right. Yeah? Is it not switching me properly? Frontiers is kind of it's not good, it's not bad. They released trailers and gameplay of Frontiers. You can see what I'm saying. Frontiers. Wait, did I say Frontiers is bad? Sonic Frontiers. I don't remember saying Sonic Frontiers is bad. I think I just said I haven't played too many modern Sonic games. I think the most modern Sonic game I played was what's the one where you play like in a tag team? So you play with 3 characters. I played like halfway through that one. That was pretty fun. Especially if you didn't try to binge it. I think I played through all of Sonic Adventure 2, and I spent like maybe 60% of my playtime just playing with the chows. That was kind of my favorite part about Sonic Adventure 2, which is grinding like the little animals, and then you do like the little chow races, and then you could raise like an evil chow, a fun chow. That was fun, and then you feed them fruits and stuff. Yeah, I remember like I because I had so much time as a kid, I would just spend like hours just like throwing the chows into walls and then petting them, so they would just kind of wiggle from like evil chow to happy chow or halo chow. I don't really know. Is there movement detection in this VTuber render? What do you mean movement detection? Do you mean like I guess I don't really understand. I'm gonna wiggle it out. Hold on. I'm gonna wiggle it out. What do you mean, like mouth detection, mouth movement like that? Or what? Are you doing that with your real life face? Yes. Yes. So I use the duck because it's like easier on system resources, and also like I own all the rights to the duck because I made the duck. I suppose I could just use Bald, which is the default VRite Studio model, and it does emulate me pretty well because I am a bald in real life. But yeah, no, my stream, well, my OBS preview window is on my top monitor, which is why sometimes you'll just see me like look up because I'm looking at stuff. I have a side monitor here. You can't see it. Now you can see it here. I have a second computer on my left here, and then my, of course, my main monitor is in front of me. Who would have thought? There's a Chow Garden mod for Sonic Adventure 2 called Chow. Well, is it cow? It's Chow, right? It's not like chaos, like KO. KO. It's Chow. There are more features in the Chaos Garden. It's fun. What could you even do in the Chow Garden? All I remember are the races and getting really good at the races. So you can clap them or encourage them or whatever, and then they would then they would do their thing and whatnot. Landing screen, get out of here. Settings screen, or just settings. Log. So this is indeed logging ASDF and then proceeds to do absolutely nothing as expected. So we go back to here. So what things do we want to show off? Yeah, because this panel container is just kind of here as a placeholder. Catfishing with an anime girl. Stop. No, you. You too can also be an anime girl if you should so desire. Make your chow different types: hero, dark, and neutral. Well, yeah, I know that, right? If you like pet your chows a lot, then they'll become, yeah, they'll start to develop the halo. And if you throw them into walls a lot, or if you kick them, they'll turn into demons with the wings and whatnot. I don't remember if the evil chows, the dark chows, have evil halos, or if they just grow horns. So this is the tree. Panel container. What do we want here? So what I'm trying to display on the settings screen is like this stuff. So like transparent background, or pretty much anything that's displayed here in app settings. So there is, I guess, rendering. I guess that's something that you would probably want rendering. Let's add a rendering view. So this is rendering. A bit weird how that actually worked. Now I'm thinking about it. So if I go to here, settings. Yeah, see, this is also kind of borked, but I'm not sure why. Hey, base tree layout. Hold on. No, we can test it here. Settings. We can look here. Settings should be visible. Says it's visible. Settings says it's visible. Tree says it's not visible. Question mark. Why is it saying it's not visible? Eh? Wait a minute. Did I mess something up? This is hide root, but it's not hide tree. Yeah, why is this tree thing being... Why is it being hidden? Oh, it's because of this. I see. Yes. So actually, technically, all of my menus are broken. You have halos. Neutral is neutral. There's a chow called Chaos. Dark chows. Chaos. Chows have a spiky ball. Do they? All right. Cool. Now we're back. Although this is technically wrong as well. But I'm not sure why. Base. Oh. Had a feeling my Windows was about to crash. Saw the telltale sign of crashing as my mouse kind of stuttered across the screen. That happens sometimes. So what's going on here? So this should be called rendering, right? And then we go into settings, and then there's just render. Oh, it's because it was not selected, so everything was hidden. Okay. So we can set settings, pre-setup, initial page is equal to rendering, I suppose. So we'll just keep that as your, or you know, you should always have like a general page as well, right? But there's not really any like general info. Something like that. So you go into here, how boring. So you start up on general. And then if you go into one of these, I need to refactor this screen as well, because I don't like how it looks. So this is using the same thing. How cool. Go back to main menus. All right, so general won't have anything in it just yet. Chaos Chow, they reborn once and then given every animal. I might live stream Sonic Adventure 2 on my PC if I can. Oh baby, Sonic Adventure 2, very pog. I think. I don't know. I've never played Sonic Adventure 1. And actually, I've only played Sonic Adventure 2 on the Nintendo GameCube. What a fun console. When you didn't save something for hours and when you finally save, Windows shows a blue rotating thing and fade out window. Yeah. the spinner, as some may call it. All right, so here we can change both of these into scroll containers. So the scroll container, and then give it a VBox, just so that it'll scroll. How nice. Expand. Rendering is where all the magic happens. I'll get around to that. So rendering, let me see. So we'll need to have HBox. So I need to have these options: transparent background, FXAA, and then MSAA amount. We'll get around to MSAA amount, but this will be like use. Well, these are all just toggles, right? So it doesn't matter. I don't need to build in space for the label. Sonic Adventure is good, but it's very messy. S2 is more, it's an improvement, pretty much better. Yeah, I can believe that. I don't know. What makes you feel motivated, driven to complete the projects you start? For this project, it's because I said I would finish it. To be honest, I'm extremely burnt out on this project. If you look at the commit history for the current release, it's been about 6 months of just nonstop work on this. So it's one of those things. I'm kind of done with it. I'm trying to get it out the door, but I'm also trying to avoid many of the mistakes I made the last time, aka for this version. Transparent background. Yeah, it's mostly just because I said I would finish it, so here we are. I think that's just like the code I choose to live by. Is if you say that you're gonna do something, you should do it. Right? You should either do it or make your best efforts, and then come clean about, you know, what happened. So I don't really want to make a retrospective at this point in my life. Yeah, I feel like, you know, I mean, this is gonna get like, this might sound a bit misogynistic, but like, and I don't mean it that way, but like, I feel like if, maybe I should make it less misogynist by just say, if you as a person, I was gonna say like, if you, like as a man, or want to be like a man, but instead of saying that, we can just say, if you want to be a person of integrity, there we go, gender neutral, then whatever you say that you're going to do, you should follow through. Which is why you should always avoid being overly braggadocious, right? Don't try to front with things that you don't have, right? Because once you screw up once, you know, guess what? It makes you, one, a failure, and two, a liar. So you should always strive to do whatever you say that you're going to do. Don't overpromise on something you can't deliver, basically? Yeah, pretty much. Or, like, it's okay to overpromise as long as you deliver. You know? Like, I think at some point, right, I think there's some people who go a little too far with that ideology where it's like, you should do things, like, as honorably as possible as well, but I don't actually believe that. No, I think results take precedence over everything. So it's the destination, not the journey. So I mean that's kind of how this kind of puts me at odds with the general consensus on these kind of things, right? Transparent background. Already var. But yeah, I suppose yeah, it's at its most basic, it's don't overpromise on something you can't deliver. Basically. Use as check button. Like it's kind of like what happened at work in the past week, where I said I would get everything done by Friday, and then I requested an extension to Monday, and then I just had to work my butt off from like Thursday to Sunday. And so, you know, like I also like worked over the weekend as well. So like, should I have promised that I could get it done in that short of a time frame? No. But did I? Yes. Did I also request an extension? Yes. But it's okay, because I did request an extension before the due date. And then after that, you know, just push yourself as hard as possible. Yada yada. Slept all day today to make up for it. Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I sleep on company time. That's pre-setup, so we don't care about this. But in regular setup, we'll call regular setup. And then for these values, actually, what does this have in setup? This just registers everything with the tree. Okay. So, transparent background. Actually, you don't need to hold on to these, actually. You could just have these exist. Oh. Yeah, like that. Use fxaa, and then we just need to hook stuff up. If you're working in sprints, it spills over, so that's much better. Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're on a fixed-priced contract, so we don't really have the luxury of sprints anymore. We just have milestones that we need to achieve. That's always a bit tough. Transparent background. Pressed is equal to cm get data. What is it called? Hold on, give me a save. Go back to here. Metadata, use transparent background. Okay, so get data. The data found in the given key. So I can guarantee that this exists. That's fine. Use fxaa pressed, or this should be set pressed, no signal. cm. Yeah, I don't work a normal programmer job. I work as a corporate consultant. But it's not corporate consultant is not really the correct title, but professional services, shall we say. Does this have, okay, this only has the tree column. So then we can set const config values, transparent backgrounds, and yeah, so because I work in corporate consulting, so I don't run my own consultancy, I also don't get to pick and choose which projects I get to work on, which is fine. You know, work is work, right? I guess unfortunately, I do have to work on mostly like SRE types things, site reliability engineer stuff, which is unfortunately also where my skill set is sliding. I'm not a huge fan of that, but so it goes. Yeah, a lot of these contracts generally tend to be fixed price. So fixed price versus time and materials, right? Those are the two types of contracts you generally have. I think there's a third one, but no one ever uses it unless you're like, yeah, no one uses, no, I'm pretty sure there's a third type of contract, but the main two are fixed price and time and materials. Fixed price just means that we're going to pay you this amounts, usually, you know, with some milestone set. So we'll pay you like a third of it once a third of the project is done. We'll pay you another third once another third of the project is done, et cetera, et cetera. And then time and materials is, you know, you tell us how much you're working and we'll pay it. So you want to be on a time and materials project, but those generally tend to be very difficult to get. It's tough. Time and materials, that's ideal because you get paid to take naps, whereas on fixed price, which is what I usually work on, it's, you know, get all of this done and then you can take a nap. Not wrong. Bisquit, the brilliant programmer YouTube, used to work as a bus driver. Did programming as a hobby? I believe it, right? Like programming isn't something that you need like super high education to do, right? Like pretty much anyone, as long as you are one, literate in English, which, you know, not everyone is. You know, you might not be born in the US, or even if you are born in the US, lots of people in the US not very literate at all. Like they are able to memorize and then regurgitate information on exams or whatnot. Yeah. But as long as you are competently literate, you can be a programmer. Well, and also have like a basic understanding of algebra. That's pretty much it. For I in config values, let's think about this. But yeah, I think it's better for most people if you do programming as a hobby instead of your job. Or I think if you're going to do programming as your job, you should not have programming as a hobby because you'll come to hate it. I suppose I'm a bit different because, I don't know, I mean, I like to read, so like I'm very fast at reading. I won't hesitate to say that. I'm good at it. And also enjoy reading no matter what, especially if I'm being paid to do so. That's the best part. Yeah, programming is not something you need to go to school for. Computer science is something you need to go to school for, though. Computer science is tough. Programming, easy. Graphics programming, tough. Should probably go to school for that. But I think like just using a game engine to do whatever, nah, you don't need to go to school for that. I mean, you should go to school for something as a backup for sure. But studying computer science is not necessary. Like I didn't study computer science and I still work as a programmer. More or less. Let's see. Base tree layout. How am I connecting all of these? Or do I just kind of I think I do just kind of ignore most of them. Okay. That's fine. And also, I think they're set up. Hold on, model, set up. Okay, that's fine. Tracking, also not needed. Setup logger, where is setup logger called? I feel like that doesn't seem correct. Base tree layout. Base tree layout. Is there a setup logger? Oh, there is not. But we can do this. Setup logger. This doesn't exist yet, but we'll make it. There we go. So that's fine. The Go small experiment I was doing with Java engine called Litty engine. So streaming. Oh, thank you. Have fun with Java. I do miss writing Java. Java is fun. Litty engine, the pure 2D Java game engine. Okay, cool. I've never heard of this one. What is this based off of? Ah, this uses Gradle. I hate Gradle. I hate Gradle so much. That's Gradle W. What does this use? This is the Gradle script, sure. Does this just use? I'm assuming this just uses like either lightweight Java graphics library or lightweight's Java graphics library LWJGL or the other one. Oh, it's just Java AWT. Oh, you can use Maven to import it. There's no POM. Is it? It's not Gradle properties, right? Or actually, is Gradle properties different? Don't most Gradle projects use something different? Or are these just... Maybe not. Okay. I'm not familiar with this. Is this new? I'm not familiar. This is slightly better, though, than what they had before. So... Makito. I suppose that's it, yeah? Oh, this looks familiar. Okay, the build.gradle. Don't know what they did, but Maven repository has it. Okay. Okay, well that's cool. Here's what I was looking for, the build.gradle. And then there should also be like a super Gradle thing, but that's fine. Let's see, engine, graphics. What do they use for graphics? Where's render? Render, probably render engine, if I had to guess. Oh, it is all just Java AWT. That's cool. Isn't that kind of slow, though? I suppose Java AWT... I don't know too much about Java AWT. Engine to figure out why nothing is rendering on the screen. Hard to say. Yeah. Java, not so bad. I think Java gets a lot... Oh, I wasn't even showing what I was looking at. Java gets a bad rap for being super verbose, but you know, it could be worse. Where am I looking? This tree layouts. And config values. We need to connect all of these things. So I can't see you. See you later. Take it easy. I'm just thinking about what I need to do here. Config values. Yeah, this might not be feasible to just do it like this. To iterate over config values. Instead, it might be better just to do this directly. So we'll do var transparent background connects. And then there should be toggled self transparent background. So we'll get the data from that. Pretty easy. Use FXA and use the same methodology there. on use of XAA. Yeah, I think I'm over trying to be a little too fancy with how I hook all this stuff up. I just remember that toggle emits a state variable along with it. So on these, on button pressed, or actually, if we're using base tree layouts, we could connect to these things, UI element callbacks. Actually, yeah, I could just use these, but I'm not. You don't have to. It's just nice. On config value updated. Actually, how did I make this work? That doesn't look familiar to me. Yeah, Bones doesn't even use this stuff, but model does. So connect elements. Connect elements is one of these. Connect element, yeah. Call connect, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. I remember now. And then connect elements will do a lot of garbage. Connect element, connect to snake case, control get class, control args. Okay, actually, that might be a lot easier, huh? And then connect element also sets the initial value. Oh, baby. Oh my God, it does. Okay, well, turns out I was trying to be too smart. I had already written something for this. Who would have known? Who would have guessed? So this is use fxaa. Looks pretty good, I think. We don't need to do any of this stuff. We only need to implement these things. So func on check button toggled. Nothing we really need to do with the check button here. So on check button toggled, yeah, just AM, PS, emit signal. Yeah, okay. Actually here, You know what? I'll be right back. I'm gonna refill my drink. Hello, hello. Base tree layout. So actually, most of these things I can move back to. base layout, right? So it's only really on items selected. All of this stuff, UI element callbacks, we can move this out to here. Nothing will happen. Logger. Can do this. This is now technically an error. Yeah. And then we can copy over most of this stuff. Or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just force you to implement. Because on button press, that requires... You gotta think about that. We can do it like this. So match signal name, right? And then we just have the defaults. Then push this as the as the implementation. That's not so bad. Here, I think this is also okay. Check button toggled. This could be a problem, but we'll see. So states and then signal name will get passed along by default. Line edit text changed. And of course, should be possible to override all this stuff. So there's your text. There's your signal name. And then we can match signal name. Okay, logger. So this is like unhandled signal, blah, blah. And then this one should also be unhandled signal. Config updated. I guess it's okay. Yeah, and then we can take out most of these except for, well, not most of these. Take this out. Check button, that's fine. Button pressed. We do need to have a very specific implementation. And then also, just remember to have the default. Yeah, okay. Func unhandled signal, or log unhandled signal, right? Log unhandled signal. Something like this. Yeah, there we go. Move it over here, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Cool. So we go back to here. Everything should just work as expected. So that's not good. These should not be null. I don't remember what was going on with those. I think it's, oh, actually, no, these got, oh, I need to go back to this. Oh, no, there's so much stuff to do. Ugh, what a pain. We'll get around to it. But at least these things, rendering, transparent background, and then we can, since these are connected, They should be auto connected, right? Check button toggled, so we can toggle it. Go to here. Yeah, okay, so that just works, which is really nice that it just works. Although I don't think that this will... Oh, actually, look at that. Haha. It's beautiful. He's finally doing it. I finally built a system that allows me to more quickly create a UI. I knew I had it in me. Okay, cool. I think that feels pretty good. Do we still pass all our gut tests? No, we don't. So we have one failure. Test, parse, get data, pass. Test metadata. Okay, so some of the metadata stuff is now bugged. So we go into tests. Metadata. All right, so we'll run this one specifically. So what happened? 62. Metadata 0, get data, other. What do you mean? Get data pass. Ooh. Okay. What do you mean? MD0. Or we can do gut print like that. Run me. So camera index. What? What is this reading from? What the heck? Ooh? What? Eh? What? What the heck? What is this what? That doesn't make any sense. Camera index, sure. Oh, it's because camera index isn't a valid thingy anymore. I see, I see. All right, so line 70. Camera index. Okay, so camera index should not be stored here. I mean, it probably should be stored here. I just got to think about it. Maybe we'll bring it back. Sure. I still need to think about camera index. 0 expected to equal 1. Hey, what do you mean? Why? Oh, it's because undo as many things as possible. Okay, it's just because I'm dumb and changed something without checking the test. Okay. So camera index 1. Will default to 0, but I'm pretty sure this is not actually how the metadata is saved anyways. So if I look at Puppets here, I think I might just change the name to Virtual Puppet Project. So it's Virtual Puppet Project, Virtual Puppet Project, but you know. We'll think about it. We still have not released it yet. Okay, yeah. So actually how this is stored, why does this stored in the other field actually? Camera index. Oh, it's because it, I see. But it will be, actually camera index, oh, it's an OpenC face camera index. It's not the same camera index. Oh, I see. So actually get rid of this, because the camera index is different for, yeah, the camera index is different for every single set of trackers. So Initially, this entire program was set up to handle OpenSea face data, but I need to think bigger than that. But yeah. Let me see. So this is use FXAA. That's pretty good. Rendering. I guess this is like Linux specific. So we can choose to hide this or not hide this depending on OS. So what we are making here is an HBox container. Label. Hit this with an expand. Give me, oh, undo me. Nope. Yeah, this will be Python path. Add me, line edit, add me. Yeah, there we go. So there's your Python path, blah, blah, text. So Python path. Okay, and then here we can hit it with a hint. Path to a custom Python executable, if any. One of those line edits. This one we need to be a little careful about how it works. Let me see. And also, this should only be visible if you are, you know, running Linux and all that. So on Windows, this doesn't make any sense. Not always necessary. Yeah. So this should only show up on Linux, of course, because as you might guess, I am developing this on Windows. Yeah. So doing anything with this doesn't make any difference. But all right, line edit. How did I do model with this? Okay, model also has this. Okay, so settings. This will be region rendering. Linux. Connect element. Slap all of this stuff in there, and then this is Python path, right? Python path. So var is Linux. So this is a Boolean, pretty easy. Bool is equal to OS get name to lower is equal to. Oh, was it? Is it X11 and OS X? Is it OS X? What did I write for? One of these things has a Linux, whatever. VRM, no, this one. No, I clicked on the wrong thing. Tracking GUI, toggle tracking, Python path is set here. X11 and OS X, okay. All right. So if it is Linux, so if if not is Linux, then we'll also need to grab this entire container. Linux, right? Whatever. Linux as some sort of control. And actually, we don't need to store this variable at all. We'll just do if not OS get name to lower and whatever, then Linux. We'll just queue free it, send it. Else. Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, and actually, we don't even need to do all this. We can just do ba-ba. Look at that. So it should just work. Yeah. Nope. It is not here. That doesn't work because of the dependency on setup. This also calls setup beforehand as well. I don't remember why there's a yield here. I don't think that's necessary. We don't need to actually execute from here. I'd rather not, actually. We take out the yield. Yeah, okay. I don't remember what the yield was for. We can probably just leave that commented out. Should be okay. And then isn't there a way to introspect on a tree layout or a tree? So we do tree get root. Get children. Or is there a way to get a specific item? Get item? No? That's a bit tough. I think actually, if I just do this in the opposite order, I think it should be fine. And then I can do this in the opposite order as well. Right? No. Okay. Well. Oh, it's because it must be freed, not queue free, because we need this to be synchronous. We need it to be synchronous. Okay, cool. And then we can go into runners, default GUI, no errors, because it's all synchronous. Look at settings, no Linux stuff. Oh, baby. Okay, cool. That's not so bad. That is not so bad. What other Linux specific things are there? Oh, hello, Bumsy. Hello, hello. How are you? Also, check this out. Isn't that get tree? What do you mean get tree? Is there a tree too? There is a tree. So this is a tree. This is a tree item. Look at that. So look at this. I have finally designed something that actually helps me write stuff now. Look at this. So now, this is really easy to hook up because all of this stuff hooks directly into my config file. This is actually what I had in mind when I was designing the system, is that all you need to do is something very simple like this. So you have the elements, you have the specific config thing that it's hooked up to, and then once you also hook up everything up here, so this is pretty easy, right? Just listen for config values, set up the config stuff, set the initial values, right? And then after that, it's super easy, right? Just add everything that should be changed to this list, as long as they are simple values. If they are dictionary values, that starts to get very complicated. Yeah. All this stuff just works. Oh, baby. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. And then it should also be saved when we reload. Can't keep up. Hold on to your butts. We're moving fast. I'm glad you figured it out in your mind. Well, basically, what's happening is that every single UI element here is hooked up like so or I guess like so. So this looks really bad at first glance, right? This looks horrible, but what's actually happening behind the scenes is that I'm taking the actual element. So load model, that's a button, and we hook it into the signal, the pub sub notification. So we kind of hook everything up like that, and then of course sometimes we'll have to have custom handlers or whatnot, but other times like so, right? So interpolate, gaze interpolation, right? These are all hooked directly into these configuration values, right? And so connect element does all the heavy lifting. We don't need to look at that implementation, but it's actually somewhat I think that it's actually pretty cool. I don't remember where it is though. Where did I implement this? Base tree layout. Actually, yeah, this should be moved out to the basis of layouts. Hold on. We're doing a lot of refactoring. To use snake case, we also need this. Like that, connect elements. Like so. Okay, that's pretty good. So was the question about last time was quick access, is this allowed it to be? What do you mean quick access? Do you mean like the ability to do this? Oh, what the heck? Oh, settings is not handled by the same handler. So I need to change that as well. But for quick access, I'm not sure what you're talking about. It does make it easy to set up reactive UIs. So all your UI elements will just kind of hook into your config files. And then your UI elements also will all modify each other as well. So like, oh, well, maybe that's a bit broken. Oh, are these all broken now? Because on toggled, not yet implemented for model. Oh, hold on. Did I break something I shouldn't have? Eh? What do you mean? Base tree layout. So these are all just connections. And actually, we can get rid of these as well. So these are just the connecting things. Gotta think. I'm rearranging things and breaking them at a rapid pace. Set config float amount. You clone the element to a custom toolbar? Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that still. I still got to think about it. Oh, actually, these aren't connections at all, though. Model selected. Log unhandled signal. Really? This is unhandled? Ooh. Connect in model GD. So connect button. This is in base layouts, but this exists in... Oh, it doesn't. Oh, that's interesting. What happened? Did I delete something I shouldn't have? Connect elements. Eh? I think I've deleted something when I shouldn't have, but I'm a bit twisted now. What happened? Okay. Connect button via call. Yeah. Connect button. What am I missing? What am I missing? That's, yeah, on toggle, sure. Base tree layout. Yeah. All right. Now we need to open up something else, because I've forgotten where we were before. Model. No, this is base pop-up tree layout. So I moved everything over to here, or from here. Connect button. Oh, I just forgot. I just forgot to move this over. What happened? Or I deleted it by accident. How'd that happen? That's weird. Yeah, okay. And then we can move all of this stuff out to here. So these are the private functions, yeah. Something like that. Okay. We're starting to have a very beautiful object-oriented inheritance tree here. So grab all of these things. Okay, on toggled not yet implemented for model. Is on toggled not implemented? On check button toggled. Okay. Wait, on toggled? Eh? On toggled. Eh? What happened? This is working before. Before I changed everything. And base layout should also have these. Button pressed. I can get rid of these. Yeah. But then here, button pressed. It's not button pressed. It needs to be on toggled. But then on toggled, I need to set a breakpoint here. What happened? Eh? Wait a minute. Eh? What? I've changed a few things. Okay. So we send it. Sure. Alright, just send me. Alright, so this is apply rotation. Sure, send it. Yeah? What? I mean, that was right. So you open up two of these. What I'm... What changed? What changed? Eh? Oh, it's because I got rid of the bad default implementations. Okay, nah, I'm just being dumb. Yeah, so this makes sense. Base layout needs to have all of this stuff. Base tree layout extends base layout and only extends or only adds functionality for tree stuff. Yeah. There's toggle page. There's the setup. And then settings inherits base tree layout and is also an overriding setup. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Cool. Yeah, so anyways, what I was trying to show off is that this works. It's cleaner. I feel like my computer is about to crash because my cursor is starting to hang. All right, this still needs to be hooked up, but we'll get around to that. But these things still change synchronously. Yeah. So anything that's hooked up to the config file will change automatically. Anything that's hooked up to like scene specific stuff So like moving the model and whatnot still needs to be hooked up, but we're getting to that. And then also just regular application settings, those have been handled as well using the same UI logic. So this stuff takes effect immediately because they all hook directly into the settings stuff. So you can turn off this stuff. If you use FXAA along with transparent background, you just get a black background because of it's just a Godot limitation. So you cannot have both on at once. You can have both off, but if you have either one of these, only one of them can be on. Still looks a bit over-engineered to me. Yeah, it is extremely over-engineered. I think pretty much anything I write is going to be over-engineered. Don't worry about it. I mean, that's the fun of programming, is creating something that is extremely flexible for a use case that will never come to pass. But how did I do posing for bones? Because I think that's pretty much it for settings, right? What other settings that I have? Remote control, no. MSAA, no. Reconstruct views, no. That's a bad habit, you know? Yeah, well, you know. In the business, we call that job security. The little over-engineering just means I get to keep my job for a little while longer. Best implementation is the simplest? Of course, yeah. Best implementation is the bare minimum that meets the requirements, but also leaves you open to extending it as well. Yeah. It's called Occam's razor in English. Something like that. Or it's not called explicitly Occam's razor. Occam's razor usually refers to like reasoning things out, right? But it's usually refers to like the simplest solution is usually they're going to be the correct one, right? Yeah, it's generally understood in the sense that with competing theories or explanations, the simpler one, for example, a model with fewer parameters, is to be preferred. The idea is frequently attributed to blah, blah, blah. Philosophical razor advocates that when presented with competing hypotheses about the same prediction, one should select the solution with the fewest assumptions, and that this is not meant to be a way of choosing between hypotheses that make different predictions. Yeah. So Occam's razor generally does also apply. Well, it's not explicitly an Occam's razor, right? Because we don't have any hypotheses. We're actually into implementation at this point. But the same principle applies, where you should prefer the simpler implementation over a more complicated implementation. Meant for programming? Yeah, it's the same principle, right? The principle is the same, where you should select the simpler idea over the more complicated idea. Friend, as mine literally works like that. Yeah, I mean, I also tend to prefer the simpler implementation if I'm getting paid. If I'm getting paid to do something, of course I'm going to take the simplest approach that also leaves me open to future work, right? Because if you pick like a really simple approach that also requires a lot of rework, that's not simple. Because then if you have to work on it again, then it's a ton of work. Then you need to basically rewrite the entire program. But simple in the way that it requires the least rework and also the least efforts in the now. So least effort now, least effort in the future. When he does it, becomes a really funny joke. He has seen the simplest way of all that no one sees it. Yeah. Of course. It's that's basically Occam's razor, right? It's the simplest approach is the best approach. The simplest theory is the best theory, right? Because the idea is that once something is only a theory until you prove it wrong, right? Like you cannot have. There's no reason to consider an incorrect hypothesis, right? So you should always select the simplest hypothesis first, because it's the simplest hypothesis generally should be the easiest to disprove. Unless we're talking about some of the Millennium problems, like was it P equals NP? I mean, that's a very simple hypothesis, very difficult to prove, but we're not talking about those. Assumptions are a bad habit. Yeah, they are, but I mean, they're fun to go down, though. I think this is not over-engineered. I think my extension system that I'm going with for this program is over-engineered for sure. But we're getting to that, you know. We're getting to that. Bad habit shows insecurity of the mind, maybe. I think in certain contexts, assumptions are a bad habit. I think assumptions are also nice when you want to move quickly, though. Right? If you need to move quickly, then you do need to make a few assumptions. Otherwise, you'll spend too much time, you know, independently verifying too many things. Right? Like, I have things to do. I have other things I want to do with my time. Additional bone damp. Model config. What did I call these now? Additional bone damping. Bone translation damping. All right, let's fix this really quickly. So model looseness, blah blah. So that's translation, blah blah. Additional bones, and then we need the rest. Well, it works with facts. Simple few facts would be sufficient to move forward? Absolutely not. I think if you only have a few simple facts in a very complicated problem, right? Because I think once you get up to things that actually work in production, things are no longer simple anymore, right? Things are no longer simple, because then you need to consider, like, okay, which server cluster are we deploying to? Are we using SCSI or the other one for our storage? How much storage can we even, grab from the storage pool, if you will? Like, technically, those are all simple facts, but then you also need to build in contingencies just in case those facts are wrong, because often they are very, very wrong. Not really talking about programming. Well, even in like more complicated circumstances, right? So if you're to like try to apply this methodology to like a like a social circumstance, like, oh, John is, or Peter is dating Jane, but person Z was trying to get with her or whatever. Nothing is really that simple, or sometimes it is that simple, so you should always try to verify it first. But there's nothing wrong with having contingencies just in case, right? If you have the ability to gain more knowledge, plan it out beforehand, I think you should, right? And that might just be like a difference in how you carry yourself, right? Like, I find value in having a general plan for how to handle a situation. I've been told that like that sounds ridiculous, but I mean I more or less do have a plan. There's always a plan for every situation. Right? Because if you have the opportunity to plan out, why would you not plan out? Riddle me this. Right. I think the programming methodology, the ideology behind approaching a problem, it's pretty universal, right? Can apply to a lot of things. The thing is, you value your experience more than other things. That's the key part. Well, of course. I mean, that's why else have experience, right? Otherwise, you might as well just you complete a task and then immediately forget about it. unless that's what you're arguing for, of course. And in which case, I totally agree. You should value experience. Right, there are things that you can learn via experience that you would not be able to learn otherwise, right? Or there are things that are only able to be taught via experience, I should say. Right, like so, like as a a small child, they see the, they see that the pan is turning bright red, Call of the Void. They're like, oh, I must touch the pan, must touch it, no matter what, No matter how much experience you have, there's nothing you're going to be able to do to convince the child otherwise. That maybe you shouldn't touch the pan. Maybe we should step back and consider our circumstance one more time, So we're looking for an H separator. Here. And here, right, blink, mouth open. Nope. That's not where I should go. I did that, similar things on eating bugs, touching hot stuff. Yeah, I mean, experience is very, very important in some circumstances, right? Because I think there are some base things that don't change, right? Like, dangerous things being red, that doesn't change. Generally. I think there are things that do change, like, being on the computer for too long, right? Like, that's something that has definitely changed in the modern era. Nowadays, if you aren't on your computer for more than 4 hours a day, then are you even doing any work at all, Eyebrow steepness left. Yes. Hello, just found you from a VOD on YouTube. Oh, baby. Welcome. Those long, I guess, minutes of me very slowly updating or exporting my VODs from Twitch to YouTube has finally paid off. Up, down, left. Eyebrow, up, down, left. How are you? Hello, Grimmer. The last one, quirk left. I don't really know what these map to because these aren't actually implemented in the current version of the face tracker. So I'm just kind of writing them out. But anyways, back to the original topic. Basically, you should always prefer the simplest solution, yes. But I think professionalism only counts when there's money involved. If there's no money involved, then who cares? Just do whatever. And I think it's more interesting, shall we say, to go off the deep end and then just do something that's kind of weird, like what I'm doing. I think there's a lot of things that I think, like, if you were to talk to, I just happened to browse past this one on my Twitter timeline, right? But like the creator of Inoch 2D, I think they posted a tweet somewhat recently about how if you're making like a VTuber thingamajig, you should not be using a game engine. And I was like, what? Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to use a game engine because I have things to do with my life. I don't have time to, you know, directly poke graphics APIs. But I think if you were to go off their experience, you know, I should scrap all my work here and just, you know, use raw OpenGL calls or whatnot. But, you know, there's ups and downs to everything. And there's benefits to taking the easier path. There's benefits to taking the harder path. And that's kind of where the experience comes into play. Hello, interested in using Godot for VTubing since it's open source? Using OpenCFace for tracking? I am. VTubing in Blender could be cool. I've seen some of those, the Blender plugins where you can, it's not hard, right? So like even my OpenCFace code is pretty simple, right? Like this is the code right here. I suppose the hardest part is just starting the camera. Ignore most of this. The most important part is where you see OS executes. So there's OS execute, there's the VNV scripts. Then we grab all of this stuff. The Windows stuff is hard-coded because the Windows stuff I can guarantee what the parameters should be. I think the hard part about Blender is that Blender isn't really meant to be used for that. And it's like simultaneously like harder and easier to rig your model for that. Because I think Blender, pretty heavy, but also because it's Blender and it's used to, you know, used for rendering, used to working with unoptimized models, you also get a bit of performance back on that side, whereas Godot has the opposite problem, where Godot expects, you know, a very optimized model. Oh, I should not start this because it's going to break. Yeah, Godot expects an optimized model, but might not be the best. Hold on. There's a point I'm trying to make, but I kind of lost it while I was talking. This happens a lot. Blender, overall, the overhead is higher because it's Blender. It's not optimized for like streaming or gets real-time use. But it handles more complicated models a lot better because that's what Blender's for. Whereas Godot has the opposite problem, where Godot can be optimized for runtime use, but the way that it handles models, it expects an optimized model. So maybe like 2 or 3 materials max. So you gotta, you know, kind of scrunch all your materials down into one material, which is more complicated. Something like that. Just provide standard, saves time, and they perform well enough. Why not use them instead of struggling with doing work that's already been done? Yeah, see, that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Like, I was considering, like, what if I, like, just have... Like, I am writing my own game engine as well, but using WGPU or I think WGPU stands for Web GPU, but whatever. That's Rust. Did you tweak any of the code, or is it the same as OpenCFace and VCFace? It is more or less the same, except I have different parameters, I suppose. Or I expose different parameters. Or maybe it's just easier for me to expose different parameters. And also the biggest difference between this and VCFace is that this is open source. And also Linux native, by the way. I don't remember how VCFace works. I've only used it like twice. But does VCFace allow for like really low tracker FPSs? Because I think if I turn up the tracker FPS, the mouth tracking will get a lot better. Oh, hello, StoneB. Hello, hello. Like, can't you do get children if the button connects to a signal for all those buttons? What do you mean? See, the problem with this, like this looks really ugly, but the problem is that I need to hook it up. All these are mapped back one-to-one to a specific signal. So I could just iterate over every single element, but then how would I know what the element is called because I'm explicitly looking for the line edit to connect to. So I could change the name of the line edit, but then that feels kind of grody, right? Because now I have my configuration in 2 places. I prefer my UI to be just whatever. I don't care what my UI is named. We could just use completely default names for the UI. I prefer all my hookup logic to be via code. Does it make it worse? I hate the duck. That's good and it's gone. The duck is always going to come back. The duck is my it's the mascot. It is the mascot, as you can kind of see here. Although that is for OpenSea Face GD. Although maybe one of these days I'll make a new mascot. Targeting FPS like frame rate. You can lower to 4 FPS and 60 max. Is that how VC Face works? I'm assuming VC Face also does like interpolation like this. So I can also lower it to 4. So this looks all right. I think I do need to adjust the interpolation rate so it's a bit smoother. Maybe do like to 0.5. Hold on. We can make it even smoother. Like that, so you just kind of like float around. Maybe 0.5, something like that. So you kind of like wiggle over from side to side. Of course, the mouth tracking goes to absolute crap, but I do have lip syncing working, which I did write myself, by the way. Some people do tend to be somewhat surprised by that, which is weird to me. Because it's like, I guess some people think like because I prefer to use a game engine, I don't know how to write lower level code. No, it's because I know how to write lower level code. I prefer to use a game engine. This is the difference. Hold on. Left gaze. All right. Grab all this stuff. You can turn the webcam FPS down in VC, and you can turn the rendering frame rate down, but I don't know if the internal tracking FPS is a different thing. I'm not sure either. That's something you should probably ask Amelia. I think that's her name. I've actually never talked with them directly, so. Although I did have it pointed out to me that, yeah, I never realized on the OpenSea Face README that my project was linked. I've just never noticed. That's my bad, I suppose. It wasn't me that added it. It was her. Dampen. So I don't know. Don't know. It's also not like a huge deal for me in any case, right? Like I'm not in competition with VC Face. I just want to have something cool that I can say that I made. That's really the biggest thing. Like I have had people, I guess, contact me more or less, you know, asking why, like, oh, like why, if you're trying to compete with VC Face, why don't you, you know, write this on Unreal or use you know, this or that. I'm not, I don't know. The initial intention wasn't to compete, right? The initial intention was just to see how it worked, and then I guess here we are. Mouth wide. So being open source, what advantages does Godot have over Unity? So one of the advantages that Godot has over Unity, besides being open source, is that you are able to modify the engine to add whatever you want. So it is technically possible to be more performant than Unity. So that's a plus, right? So I already have code. Oh, okay. I'm already in dual screen mode, so I can show this off, right? So I already have code for. So I know VC Face has Spout integration. I actually ported Spout to Godot as well. And so because Godot is open source, you can just patch it. So here's one of my patches to expose the frame buffer object to user code, and then you can forward that over to OBS. So the idea behind that is that you'll be able to have the GUI open here, but then when you're capturing an OBS, you won't be able to see it. So that's, I ported this. There's other stuff. I think the fact that Godot has an easier scripting language is really nice. The fact that it has a built-in scripting language that you can hot load. So a lot of C# stuff, it's kind of hard to load custom code at runtime. I'm actually not sure. Are you able to load custom C# scripts or C# code at runtime? I guess the JIT compiler just handles that, but maybe not in export mode. One and only advantage. Yeah. I suppose, like, even if you're just doing like C#, you can always hook in a Lua library and then handle scripting via that. VC, this is a free tool, so what does competing mean? It's just a mindshare fight? Yeah, pretty much. Share the code and resource instead of competing? Yeah, I mean, I'm not competing, right? That was never my intent. As said before, I'm basically just in it to finish it at this point. Because I don't know. People said they were interested in it. All right. As long as, you know, people are still interested in it, I'll give it my best shot. It might not be the prettiest implementation. That's the cost of free labor. Kind of gross. That's fine. Copy all of this, replace everything with right, and then I think it should just work. Oh, I guess also another benefit of doing this in Godot, just thought of it, native Linux support. Native Linux support. VC face, you need to jump through a few hoops. Like you need to use Wine, you need to delete some DLLs that they use. Whereas this one, oh, thank you very much, somebody, Grimmer, for the follow. Much appreciated. Oh, that means I broke 300, Pog. How nice. 300 follows. But what model formats do I support? I support currently just GLB and VRM. So VRM is GLB, just with a different name. Something that a lot of people don't realize is that you can name a file whatever you want it to be named. So technically the file extension does not matter. File extension does not matter, but we're looking for GLB or VRM, or if you want to be fancy, if you pack your entire model using Godot into a .scn file, then you can use whatever file format you want, as long as it's rigged. So it needs to have a skeleton. So I can demonstrate what a rigged model should look like. This is what it should look like. Right, so this is a standard GLB. This is the duck. We'll go back to the duck. Duck front. Load him. There we go. So this is the duck with a green screen background. And then you can hook in all kinds of custom stuff. This is something I want to implement in my program, VPupper or Puppeteer, whatever you want to call it. I haven't heard of GLB. GLB is kind of, it's one of the file formats, 3D file formats that's in contention. So the big three file formats, I suppose maybe there's a big four to make a consulting joke for all my consultants out there. So there's GLB. GLB, that's one of the newer ones on the block. Then you have GLB, you have OBJ. That one's been around for a while. Unity supports FBX. Godot also supports FBX, but FBX is known as being a garbage format. There's Collada, but that's not in contention. No one likes Collada. Collada is made by Kronos. These are both Kronos. I think FBX is AutoCAD. I don't remember what OBJ is. And then there is the other one. What's the other one? You know it. Who out there is a 3D model? I don't remember what it's called. What is it called? There's one of them that's very complicated. I remember. USD. Wavefront is OBJ. So there's OBJ, which is garbage. FBX, which is also garbage. GLB, which is slightly less, or GLB/GLTF. These are the same format. No, basically never use OBJ. FBX is kind of legacy. These are the newer ones, and then this is might be one of the newer ones. I forget which one's newer between this one and this one. This one's Collada is kind of old, but no one uses Collada anymore. But USD is the fanciest file format out there. USD's nuts. You got me. As a reward for that excellent joke, enjoy your 24-hour ban permanently. But yeah, USD, very complicated, but also I think it's DreamWorks. Is that what USDZ file format? Who is? Oh, this is Pixar. It's Pixar. USDZ is Pixar. Yeah. It's not DreamWorks. It's Pixar. It was one of the animation companies. Yeah, a lot of, I guess, open source software at least is moving towards either GLTF/GLB or USD. I think if you're supporting legacy formats, you support FBX, and then OBJ is the easiest one, but it is very, very limited. It's all Disney. Oh, is Pixar owned by Disney? Pixar owners. Oh yeah, Pixar is owned by Disney. How cool. But yeah, either way, so I support, out of these things, I support GLB, and then also I suppose VRM is associated with these because VRM is just a GLB file. But then if you bring it in, if you export your own model via Godot, then you can use whatever you want, as long as you have a skeleton here. And then also part of that skeleton has a bone called head. So as you can see here, this one has a bone called head. So you can track whatever you want as long as whatever. So that's also one of the bigger features I have in comparison to other projects. Yeah, is that other projects require you to, you need to run your model through their converter, export a model in their file formats, and then you can import the model and use it in their program. Whereas, I don't know, I'm pretty lax with it. Like I'm pretty sure. Does VCFace allow you to manually pose your model, or do you need to program that in? So for this one, I allow you to manually pose it. So if we load in the weird bald model I have, oh, how cursed. It's me, except my head is not that bald. Yeah, so what you can do is you can grab body parts like that. So just very carefully. I guess we're just not gonna pose it though. Just put your arm back down. No one cares. How terrifying. It's One Punch Man, yeah. You're familiar with VCF Avatar? It's an extension of your VRM for... Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm trying to avoid doing. VC Face does not have a posing. It can receive data from elsewhere, so if you want to do posing, you have to run another app. Yeah, see, that's what I'm not a fan of. I prefer something that's kind of more all-in-one, which is why I'm working on this. Right, so this is something that's hard to do, by the way. Not everyone believes me, but this is tough to do. Being able to pose something, everyone thinks it's, oh, you just manipulate the bone, but it's like, how do you manipulate the bone? Please tell me, how do you manipulate the bone? If it was that easy, I would have done it. Yeah, I don't plan on supporting VCF Avatar. I also don't plan on, I guess, supporting custom, any custom format. I guess besides like my own intrinsic format, but that's fine. I think as long as you give the user the ability to write their scripts just like that, so you don't need to like export it as a bundle or whatnot, I think that's fine, right? Because it's GDScript. So in GDScript, GDScript is interpreted almost like Python. So it takes it as text, converts it to bytecode, and then just kind of executes it. So there's no performance difference. And also because it's, it's just tracking, it's not that complicated. I think if you're tracking at 60 frames per second, it can start, you can start running into performance considerations, but whatever. Anyways, let's check this out. Ooh, he's done it. Look at that. So now we have pretty much all of the looseness modifiers here. I need to make this so this adjusts. Well, this does not adjust. It has the same features as, if this has the same features VC Face Avatar or VCF Avatar has the GOB, that'd be great. I don't know what the limitations it has. Just use GDMP or Golden. Yeah, that's the plan. I'm working on it. I need more time. I need to get this done by June 20th, and I'll hire someone and they cut together a show reel, so then I can get into the Godot 2022 show reel. Like I think this is pretty cool. Like check it out. Like I already got everything working again. I don't know who was here, but I did show this off earlier. But tracking, well, maybe not. Hide roots, no. Really? Oh, this is gonna break. Yeah, okay. Give me 1 sec. Really? Tree. Oh, it's because tree needs to be set directly. I remember. 1 sec. 1 sec. It's still under heavy development, by the way. Start me. Yeah, so we are technically working already. It needs a lot of cleanup, but I think the UI looks a lot better than this one, right? Cleaner, we have settings. There's nothing in general just yet. There's no Linux specific settings because I'm on Windows. But, check it out. We can see through the current window. Look at that. Wow. Or you can turn on FXAA. You cannot have both on at once. That's a Godot limitation. You can do bone manipulation. Okay, hold on. Send me, and then we'll kill it from here. Otherwise, the face tracker will not shut off. All right, tree is equal to tree. One of the few things that I kind of dislike about Godot. Are you supporting many graphic shaders? What lighting options are going to be like? How fancy can it without need to bring in another tool? Can you compile a shader code at runtime? I'm actually not sure if you can compile a shader code at runtime. I've never tried. I suppose it's possible. But graphic shaders, I mean, if it's possible, right? So what I already have, let me turn back on the tracker. Or turn the tracker back on. I got that mixed up. So I've showed this off before. For some reason, no one's as excited about this as me. but I'm gonna keep showing it off regardless. So something that's cool is that this is possible, right? So you are able to write GD script at runtime. So this is what I'm planning to use for this application, right? This is what I'm planning on using. So this is, or actually it would be better if I were to show this off in exported form. I think this already does exist in exported form. So check this out. Not this one, not this one. So this does work in completely standalone mode, by the way. Ripple isn't GD shader, but maybe there's a way to inline it. It's the same idea, right? So if GD script works, I don't see any reason why shader stuff wouldn't work. So I actually, if we get really fancy with it, I think it could work. Store var. Do you have alpha video or just green screen colored backgrounds? Right now it's just green screening transparency. So like this does support transparency. So you turn this off, right? So you do have transparency. It does require you to go into OBS and do game capture, right? But other than that, it should just work. Sprite texture is equal to load. Right. So what's a shader that people use? Do you have a shader I can just kind of copy and paste into here? Bumd. Global position is equal to OS window size divided by 2. There we go. So we are running all this stuff at runtime, by the way. Check that out. Look at that. So this is completely standalone. Able to wiggle the sprite position. And then if we do var shader, what is it called in GDScript? Is it called a shader? Is it just called shader? Okay, so I can create a new shader, right? So shader, new, store var, shader. So we hold on to a reference to that. So now we have a sprite and a shader. No question, if you can export a resource shader file as text, then it would work. Oh yeah, for sure. So I mean, that's kind of where this comes into, right? The overcomplication, the over engineering of this entire program comes into. Right, it's so over engineered that it should just work because you can load in files at runtime. So like here, these are all the extensions. You might not think that is very useful, but you know, everything is just stored in extensions. So, and everything is accessible via my extension system as well. So it's designed to be extensible. Could you hotkey code sets to swap shaders expressions at runtime? So yes, that was on the list, right? So like this duck right here, look at this. Like I'm not actually making these expressions in real life. I mostly have, you know, RBF. I suffer from RBF, resting bitch face, to be a bit crude. My expression is almost the same for all my, pretty much everything, right? I have two expressions, neutral and annoyed. Or at least my eyes have two expressions, neutral and annoyed. I still smile sometimes, but then I make like an annoyed smile or a neutral smile. Yeah, so right now, every expression is hard-coded. The plan was to have like hotkeys, so you can possibly hotkey between like different configs. So if you wanted like a side profile, it would be really easy. You can even see that there's a hotkey field right here, but I never got around to implementing that. I do have a way of doing it though. Not too hard. Right. Also, do you have like a really easy piece of spatial code? Like, how do I just make something green? It's like, hold on. We can look this up. Godot, canvas, shader. Canvas item shader. Yeah, just give me a green one. I just want to make it green. So I have shader, right? So I can return shader. Yeah, there's my shader. Shader is here. So then shader, or actually, no, we can do store var code. One of these, shader type canvas item. This is not the greatest user experience for sure. And I'll just copy and paste this into here. I think that's okay, right? So then that's our code, return code. Yeah, there's our shader. And then because it's a shader, and it's also delimited by semicolons, you can do that. Hotkey, field hotkey is... Yeah, clearly you haven't played field street hockey. You can play hockey in a field, I guess. Although I think at that point it's more of like a unmounted polo. Put in a void fragment. Oh, I vec4. Yeah, one of these, and then we do shader. What was it called? Shader code equals code. Okay, and then in the sprites we have, well, no, the canvas item, we have material. So then I need to create a new canvas item material, right? So var cm is equal to canvas item material new cm, or no, we don't want a canvas, we want a shader material, not a canvas item material. Shader material. Sorry. Var shader material. And then cm shader is equal to shader, because that's one of our vars that we stored here. And then sprite material? Was that it? I don't usually do this at runtime. Canvas item material is equal to sm. Please. Probably worked. Oh baby, it works. Look at that. Look at that. It totally works. See, you can compile shaders at runtime. Oh baby. Pog. I didn't know that worked, but that's cool. And then you can do one of these. What did I call it? Shader? Or it was code. So code is equal to ba 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 ba. What was it? What did I call it? So shader type canvas item. It's a bit, it is 100% very clunky to write code like this, but it should just work. And then shader code is equal to code. And then up. That should just work. Maybe not. I might have run into an error somewhere. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. That is a demonstration, though, of how easy it is to runtime compile stuff in Godot, which I think is a bit more difficult to do in Unity. By the way, I wrote this. If you're interested in any of that code, RepelGD, it's free and open source, makes use of my other library that I wrote, Advanced Expression GD, oh baby, which allows for runtime compilation of GD scripts. No one thinks it's cool, but I think it's cool. No one understands. Oh, we're about to crash? Oh, okay, we're still here. Yeah. I don't know why I do it to myself, but I still like to browse the Godot Discord, and I just suffer severe mental damage from all the people that I keep asking about, like, oh, how do I do this thing? How do I do this thing? I'm like, I already wrote something to do it, but sure. I've tried my best. But the fact is, like, I guess people asking on Discord aren't the people that generally have GitHub accounts to give me stars. Yeah, I think using files per shader is better workflow. Easy sharing, no copy. Oh yeah, of course, right? But you see, that's where my over engineering comes into play, right? Is that I already have a solution for loading things in at runtime, right? So for all the tracking that I'm doing, by the way, the tracking is done at runtime. It loads in these files. So you have OpenCFace, blah, blah. We have these two GD scripts, and then all of these are stored in a config ini file, which looks like this, which describes how to load the file. So you have OpenCFace, that's the name. Type it's a tracker, entry points, and then it has some data associated with it. You know, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. So extensions are really, I guess, simple to load in. If you want to use an extension, it's a bit more complicated, but because then you need to go through the extension manager. Godot hacker. Yeah, I mean, yeah, everything, it's over-engineered on purpose to answer all these questions I'm sure you have. And don't worry, your question has been considered and already taken care of. Mugging folks for GitHub stars. Yeah. Please, I desire stars. I desire stars so it's easier for me to lie to companies. Okay, so this works. Settings, there's something else for me to add there. What else was I doing? What else needed to be done here? Oh, the props and presets. And then once those are implemented, oh, and then also the debug console. Show raw mesh doesn't do anything right now, although that's not super difficult to do, I think. Can you make a texture material on the model that you added at runtime while loaded in Blender or an art program? No. Well, I mean, I guess, do you know how to do that, BumD? I didn't think that would be possible. I guess how would you edit a texture? Oh, actually, if it's just the texture, I think that, yeah, you could do that, yeah. If it's just the texture, yes. If it's the material, no. But texture, maybe, yeah. Just use texture as a look. Yeah, okay, yeah. That makes sense. Because I think what Blender does is it just loads it in once and it doesn't leave the file open, as it should. Yeah. This program, though, I think if you wanted to be able to... Oh, you know what? I think BumD remembers. Remember way back in the before times when I wrote the pixel arts tool for Godot? And then if you're using spouts, oh baby. So what this tool does, friendly potato pixels, it's if I had to say, it's probably the best pixel art editor for Godot, or the best in editor pixel art tool. Every other one of those is pretty jank. Yeah, so I already have this tool. This one, very easy to use. Could just add this as an add-on. Oh baby. Anyways, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add in my REPL really quick. That shouldn't be too hard. You know, famous last words. Shouldn't be too hard. I just need to grab REPL GD and advanced expression, give those a save, move over to Puppeteer, add-ons, Advanced expression is already here, but we need to replace it. Yeah, there's our REPL-GD. If you go into plugins, you'll now see that REPL-GD is now just kind of hanging out, I suppose. Okay, then... REPL-GD. I think I need to grab the REPL, or is it the debug console? Oh, no, I need to grab the debug console. Infinite possibilities soon will compete with OBS. Oh, absolutely not. OBS is very complicated. When I was looking into, like, something else that I'm planning on implementing as well is my OBS WebSocket thing. Look at this. OBS WebSocket, 29 stars. Oh baby, I'll give myself a star. I think this is the only Godot thing to, yeah, there we go. Look at that, number 3 on the list. Practically everything. Yeah, I still don't really understand why people don't use, like, people use other tools. Appreciate you guys taking the time to answer all my questions. I know it kind of takes all your work, really exciting stuff. Nah, I mean, that's the point of streaming, right? It's to answer questions in real time and also keep me interested. Yeah. The plan was originally to integrate OBS WebSocket, because I wrote this originally for this program. Let's say if you used it in conjunction with Spout, right, then you can pretty much control everything in OBS from one application. Or pretty much everything that you need for VTubing from one application. So you don't need to juggle, like, oh, now I need to go to my OBS hotkeys and do a thing. Or sometimes I need to go back to my VTubing program to adjust the thing. If you had OBS WebSocket, integrate with this, now all you need to do is run this one program. This one program will talk to OBS for you and handle everything else for you. Something like that. So yeah. So I also have this plugin, which is also, by the way, extensively tested. Oh, baby. Not so bad. Not so bad. All right, let's get out of here, duck. Where's my debug pop-up? Debug console. Okay, so my debug console, very ugly. Just DC'd for 30 seconds. It's no problem. I was just going off onto a rant on my OBS WebSocket plugin. So that's also very easy to integrate into this program. So I think you, yeah, if the possibilities soon will compete with OBS. I brought my OBS WebSocket. So this program could be used to orchestrate OBS as well. So pretty much that's it. That's pretty much it. Anyways, debug console, let that go away. Add-ons, REPL, debug console, and then we'll save this as debug console. Screens, GUI, pop-ups, debug console. File exists overwrite, yes. Do you have a Discord for this other projects? Yeah, there we go. Oh, you almost had it. Discord, there we go. I'm special. I wrote my own bot as well. There we go. The bot sometimes crashes. Yeah. Well, because if you were, I don't know, it's for whatever reason, people don't think that I write my own tools. Like, this isn't some stream avatars. This is my own thing. So, well, once people got confused, we're like, oh, like, why doesn't your stream avatars thing have the bottom bar, like the little Twitch extension as well? I was like, oh, it's not stream avatars, it's something completely different. I wrote it. And then just like I think people always think like the bot is Nightbot, but it's not Nightbot. It's my own bot. I suppose that's the only like. I mean, that's probably the biggest downside that I have as a programmer, is that I don't know, have an internal chip on my shoulder for Like I prefer Python, but because of that, people like to make the assumption that I'm not very good at programming, which is strange. Like I like simple languages because I have more things to do with my time. But actually, the bot's written in Golang, which is not a super simple language. But anyways, send me default runner. Okay, well, okay. Cannot override. So we'll need to go into. All right, that's tough. I didn't realize that. So env. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. Oh, that's great. I love that. So I can't shadow the outer class. That's annoying. Nightbot sucks anyways. I can't believe people still use it. Isn't Nightbot like... Nightbot is like the most popular bot on Twitch though, right? Don't know. Imagine using one tool for face tracking and lip sync, then another for full body tracking, then OBS, and another for Twitch integration. This time you need a separate display for every tool in your stream chain. Yeah, imagine that, huh? Imagine that. Or you could just use my program that bundles everything in. You know any home security free and open source software that works on a Pi? Isn't Pi-hole? Pi-hole? Isn't that what it's called? Pi-hole? Yeah, you can use Pi-hole. I'm not super into network security, but that's the only thing I know. What's CPU, GPU usage like? From what I've heard, it's lower than VC-Face, especially on Linux. But I mean, this is what I'm currently running. Let me see. This is probably OpenCFace. It's using 1 gig of memory. And then don't pay attention. The CPU is not representative. What you should be looking for is the CPU for the face tracker. The face tracker is using 2.5% of my CPU. Also, I should say that I do have a pretty beefy computer. I got a Ryzen 7 5800X. So I have 16 cores, or 16 usable cores, 8 physical cores. I have 32 gigs of RAM, and then I am running a 3080. So take from that what you will. But let me see. So CPU is pretty low overall. Face tracker is also fairly low. The memory usage, not so bad. I think, yeah, VC-Face or the OpenCFace tracker is entirely CPU bound, which is kind of neat. Yeah, home security, not network security. This looks interesting too. Make a caravan secure, you know, not a home. Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar with security tools. Yeah, I don't really deal with that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, that anything security based is like not my area of expertise. Considering that whenever I do a Linux install, I always turn off SC Linux. So you're asking the wrong person if you want security recommendations. All right. So anyways, env. I gotta think about this. I gotta test, or not test. I gotta think. So these are all env values, but then if we take this env and then we can start replacing it with. This needs to be case sensitive. Take this stuff out. Okay, so 20 results in one file. We're going to replace this with, I don't know, probably like environment. That's probably okay. Or no, lowercase environment. Well, no, this needs to be uppercase env. Project, repl GD, we still want this. env GD, we want to keep that. Okay. Send me. Replace. All right, that should be okay. We'll go back to here. We will need to reload the project. PC is still plenty functional, but it's definitely not a powerhouse by today's standards. I feel you. I used to stream off a laptop, so. But even then, that laptop was not bad, I guess. It was it was an NVIDIA, or not NVIDIA, it was a Razer Blade with a 2070. But I suppose that's still pretty good. Since you're using OpenSea Face, do you get that head bob when you blink? I do. I do. So check this out. So if I load in, we'll load in this person again. For maximum catfish. So if I just look straight up the camera, might need to do this really quickly. Something you do need to do with OpenSea Face is whenever you want to get really good tracking, you do need to rotate your head. I'm dizzy now, but you can kind of see it. I have rotation damping turned up pretty high, but if you turn it up like this, like that, so you can really kind of see it. Like I am not moving my head at all. I think I know why it does it though. Check this out. Yeah. Hello. Wee. Seems like it's not as fast in VC Face. Maybe. I mean, it depends on like the various settings that you have. It depends on what settings you have. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this because this is fun. Catfish us. Don't worry. You know, I've actually considered, I was talking to some of my friends about this, and they're like, have you ever considered just like buying a voice changer? It's like, maybe. Oh no, it shadows a native class. I'm dumb. Okay, give me 1 sec. Environment. Call it scope. Change me. Not this one. Not this one. Not this one. Shell-based controller. Like it's a slow bob. Like VTuber exe command args. I'm not sure what the shell args would do though. What would I use it for? Yeah. Yeah. I suppose, does VC Face have a slower bob? I think VC Face might be doing some stuff to offset the rotation, because what I'm thinking is that when you blink, what's actually happening is that the controller thinks that you're just looking down, right? Because when you look down, your eyelids usually will kind of follow your eyes a little bit, so it kind of thinks like, oh, your eyelids are lowering, you must be trying to look down, you know? Like there's a lot of parameters that I've had to tweak when I want to make this work, right? It's more difficult than you think, okay? Yeah. Just run a VST in OBS. The hard part is finding a VST that's just a job. Well, I don't know too much about using a VST in OBS. I have bought a VST though for FL Studio. We do decks to trigger stuff. I was working on my own stream deck, so this is already kind of a stream deck. Okay, so you can turn on random garbage like this, whatnot. Oh, hello Desh. Hello, how are you? Keyboard controls like MIDI controller that would fire a command like that. Well, wouldn't you rather have something like this that's more of a visual tool and then also can listen for, like, right, it's like this program is actually keylogging me. So if I run it like this, right, it's blurring my mouse. It's giving me the classic Japanese pixelation. Like so. It can't capture all the devices. It can. Limited by keyboard? No, it's not. Right, because how this is working, remember in Godot does not actually allow you to do this. Today we're feeling bad? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. OBS's VSTs are easy? No. Never tried. The idea was loading in a second model, you could pose, trigger animations, expression with the control with head stick movement by analog stick. You know, technically, all right, let's just get ready to really break stuff. So technically, let me see if this works. I don't remember if this works in this version or not. This worked in the 0.70 or 070 version, and then I broke it when I rewrote the code. Let me think. Please don't break. I can feel it. I can feel it. My computer is like, oh, do we want to crash now? What do you feel like? Do you want to crash now? It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. Is it this one? Okay, yeah, there we go. So you can do something like this, I guess. Nope. Oh, say goodbye. Delete the prop. So that's still kind of broken, but you know, happens. No one reported a bug, so I didn't know there was a bug. Yeah, there we go. So it does allow for just random 3D models to be loaded in. See, there's my duck brethren right there. So would it be possible to control them? Yes, because they are, it's like one script away from being the same as this thing, right? And as I demonstrated, it is possible to just assign scripts at runtime. Yeah. All right, so debug console, that's okay. This is also okay. Pop-ups. I think this is going to break, question mark. But I guess I don't need that at all. We go into screens, debug console. I guess we don't need this. What is this? Yeah, okay, so debug console, this can go away. It's not used anywhere. Run this. But yeah, there's a lot of plans, right? Because I already have all of the, I spent so long working on all the base level things. Now I just need time to write all the cool stuff, right? That's the hard part, is I need more time to write the cool stuff. Debug console. Trying to assign value of type canvas layer to a variable of type control. 39. What? Gotta think about this. I guess the screen, it doesn't matter. Like this could just be like a node. It doesn't really matter what it is. So we go into here. All of these should still work. All right, so we load in 2 instances of this. So these, okay. Cool, cool, cool. And then we go into debug console. Pretty ugly, for sure. There's no way for this to get any smaller. Okay, I see what I need to do. Okay, I see. So So I need to modify the debug console so that it's not absolutely huge. Although actually it's surprisingly easy. Yeah, I don't actually need to use the built-in debug console. Instead, what I can do is load in just like the REPL, like that. Oh, okay. All right, so get rid of this. Actually, get rid of all of this, right? So load in REPL, just the REPL. That's pretty much it. So debug console. I think that should just work. Maybe? So debug console, text scene, yeah. Yeah. So then we go into debug. Oh. Yeah, it's very ugly, but technically works. And then we can look at our scene. Nope. Oh, because it's not using the proper scene tree. Okay, so that it would be 100% totally messing with my current scene tree. So I need to fix that. So panel container, full rect, and then debug console. Then we'll add in the REPL. Make it a child of a pop-up. Well, it's always a child of a pop-up, right? The idea here is that each pop-up or each screen that's under pop-ups is just a standalone screen. Like there's no difference. It's kind of an interesting system actually, if you don't think about it too hard. Debug console. All right, so there's your debug console. Add a script to you. Blah blah. Not in init. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone do it like this before, but that's because most people don't use... Oh, this is debug console. Get out of here. Most people don't... most people don't try to write code that is like this abstract, I suppose. Because it's usually better if you know exactly what you want. It's better just to hard code your UI. But that's not what we're doing here. So that's your REPL. What does so debug console? So REPL configure scene tree, get tree. So that should be fine because now we're feeding in our scene tree to our REPL. So debug console, we can look at that. Look at that. You might not think that this is cool, but this is actually like one of the coolest things ever. People write games like Godot. Like, yeah, most people do it, but I don't. I'm new to programming, but GD seems great, and I'm modeling in Blender, so simulating languages would be nice to pick up both a bit. I was thinking of buying GD Quest's course on learning Godot from zero. I mean, GD Quest has some good stuff. They've also put out some misinformation before, which I thought is kind of weird. But I think their Godot from zero stuff isn't bad. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Code Academy. I think if you see this is wrong. This is completely wrong. But as long as you ignore this article, and then some of their other articles are kind of incorrect as well. But I think their tutorials for the most part are pretty good. I think I would... actually, this is under tutorial. This is not a blog. But yeah, most of their tutorials are pretty good. It's a deep topic for beginners. Yeah, ECS is not really a beginner thing at all. Yeah, it's more of a high-level thing. But see, my problem with this article is that they're actually describing an EC, not an ECS. So entity components is you have entities, which are just integers, and then components, which are data and logic, which is what they actually model here. But an ECS is entity component system, which they bring up, but they don't actually implement. It's very easy to get confused. Unity uses an EC, entity components. And I'll stick to tutorials. Yeah. As long as you stick to their, like I've run through their Kryta tutorials. They're pretty good, I think. Speaking as someone who's not very good at Krita. Have I seen this? I have not seen this. Oh, I did see this. Yes, I saw this. Yeah, I looked at their source code and I wasn't too sure how it worked. I was looking at it and I was like, I don't understand how they're running their stuff. But maybe I'm just missing something. But from what it looks like they're using their own GD script parser to run stuff, which is bizarre. When they could just use my thing, which literally runs your GD script stuff. So like, look at this. So this debug console, by the way, works in an exported project. So usually you don't get access to your remote scene tree like this. Oh, I broke something. Oh, I crashed. What happened? Oh, check that out. One of the few times we've hit a hard crash. I'm not sure what happened there. It's probably because I had the scene tree open in 2 tabs. But anyways, here's your scene tree. Usually you only have access to this when you are in debug mode, but because of how I've structured this application, it just has access to your scene tree, so you can do things like, I don't know, get tree, root, get node am. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. So this is something you don't usually have access to, but I have patched it in so it works in exported projects. Anyways, we've done it. How cool. Debug console implemented with impunity. Only took... well, actually not much time. I just had to copy and paste my scripts in. Oh, you need to burst into other people's streams or Discord threads or whatever, force people to use your tools for their own good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it always like boggles my mind, but I've accepted it at this point. I'm just not very good at SEO. Yeah. Like I'm just garbage at advertising, which is that's probably a good thing. I was very bad at marketing in university. Or pretty much any of the business stuff besides management. Or actually, besides, I was also very good at finance. Finance, very good at accounting, garbage. Financial and managerial accounting I was very bad at. But finance, not so bad. Management, not so bad. You should have seen the emails I was writing. 10 out of 10. Oof. Insurance was pretty bad at until we got to like the projects. You should have seen the business owner's policy write-up I did for a local business. It was pretty sick. Of course, we couldn't give them a real quote, but we gave it our best shot. All right, so what else needs to be done, by the way? I've been talking for a while, but I haven't really been doing too much working. Do you think animated environments would be realistically possible in Puppeteer? Yes. Shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be too bad. Because, I mean, in this application, right, you can load in whatever you want, really. So if I go into... Where do I find pictures? Do I even have any pictures I want to show off? Oh, I can show off this. Oh, baby. It's absolutely horrifying. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, VPupper. And so if you can load in like a GIF or whatever, zooming is broken in this build. I've never noticed, but no one ever told me. Yeah, so GIF support is possible. I would just need to build it in and then, automatically convert it into like an animated background. So yeah. Not hard. Day-night cycle, wind and water sims. I don't know about that. that might be a bit more difficult. But I think if you just wanted an animated background, it's possible. Or if you wanted to like load in a custom scene, it's also possible, right? Because you can load in things around it. So like, for example, this thing is loaded in at runtime as well. So, I mean, the remote control GUI, there's no like implementation yet, but it's here. So you can load in code at runtime. So as long as it's possible in Godot, it's possible in this program. Yeah, I think water sims might kill your processor though, but you know, that's not really my problem. If you want to, you know, I subscribe to the idea that, you know, we're all adults. If you want to shoot yourself in the foot, that's your prerogative. Like rain. I mean, if you have something, I mean, these models technically exist in a 3D environment, so it's possible. Your sim is too beef, bake your sim. Yeah, then you'll get a little bit of roast beef. Or a meatloaf, actually. It's made me hungry. I haven't eaten today. Alright. Anyways, get out of here. So we've implemented the debug stuff. I think it works, question mark. We can run our tests. Run all my tests one more time. Yeah, it's all green. Ignore this. These are intentional errors. That's something that not ignores me. This annoys me to no end, is when people ask questions and like, oh, like I'm running into errors in my game. And I'm like, okay. Or my game is crashing and I don't know why. I was like, oh, do you have any errors? Yeah. I was like, you have errors. Fix your errors first and then come back and ask the question. Yeah. Rain and puddles, bodies of water. Yeah, well, you can do snow, rain particles, make a fluid sim. That's 100% scientific. Well, I mean, if someone has an implementation, I am not against using it. Git commit, refactor UI layouts, add settings, UI, add debug console. And that's pretty good. And that's pretty good. Yeah. So actually, if you want to try out the current build will work without my custom build of Godot, at least in debug mode. If you want to run the current build that I'm running at full power, you will need to grab my custom build of Godot. You know, get around to it when you get around to it, you know what I'm saying? But all of this stuff should just be runnable using whatever I have available here. Except for VRM stuff. I mean, VRM stuff does load in. Look at that. Still needs a bit more work, but we're getting to that. I'm still trying to implement the rest of the UI first before I start going back to the VRM stuff. Right now it looks like it's very dark because it's actually almost completely unlit. There is a light in the scene, I think. If I can find it. So there's the GUI, we don't care. Yeah, okay. I know one of these is a light. And then one of these is the camera. Since it's cool and you could use it with VTuber, I've used NoClip website with streaming for dynamic backgrounds. Is this about to give me a virus? Oh, this is like a speedrunning thing. No? I actually don't really know what this is. Oh, is this not? Oh, wait, is this? Oh, no. This is not a speedrunning thing. This is just to like look around, right? Oh, is this going to get me content ID matched? That's cool. Also good to know they use the standard 3D controls. And oh yeah, you can press shift to go extra fast. Whee! Okay. I'm not sure how you would do this, but let's do explore game maps. Yeah. I think, oh, actually, you know how you can make this work? If you put this as like an OBS URL, or what was it called? OBS web source, browser source, OBS browser source. And then you can combine that with the green screen here, and then yeah, I guess that could just work, yeah. It shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, some have animated maps like Wind Waker. Oh, there's Wind Waker. Oh, baby. Wind Waker, Great Sea. Oh, does this one switch from like day to night? Is there a way to get rid of this bird? I remember the bird. Oh, is this actually like the entire... Oh, is that how Wind Waker works? It just loads in the entire map all at once? That's cool. Oh, hello, KT. Hello, hello. Thank you very much for the raid. Whoever's watching, yeah, you should go check out KT. She is a toaster, possibly also a cat, that works on video games and or plays video games. They do all kinds of stuff. Thank you very much for the raid, though. Look at the Mario Galaxy bedroom. I'm not looking at anybody's bedroom. I don't want to know what Mario does there. Probably makes cakes all day. Oh, hello, Nova. Hello, hello. It's working on them these days. Yeah. But yeah, check this out. So we are getting pretty close to being feature complete for this application. Ignore the T-pose. This scene is almost completely unlit, or at least the light that I'm using is too dark. But finally have a debug console working, so check it out. We can see the scene tree. So this works in exported builds. Allows you to introspect on whatever's in your scene. Should probably use legible names instead of the auto-generated ones, but you know, one step at a time. Also, I didn't need to restart, but also, the duck looks fine because the duck is using an unlit material. So regardless of whether or not there's a light, it'll always look like this. Or I guess it'll look a bit more lit. It's lit. If there's a light. Yeah. So this does just work if you get rid of this. Blah, blah. Go to tracker. Open CFace. Start the tracker. And there we go. Yeah. I just got to run, grab fruit, and resume working on Toaster Crash. Have fun. Have fun. Working on Toaster Crash, which I think that's your... it was not based on To the Moon, but it's some anime thing. But I only know To the Moon. Or Learn to Fly, whatever it's called. Yeah, go check out KT's channel. If you want to drop a link in chat, go ahead and do so. I don't have any bots to stop you. At some point, if you're VTubing from a virtual set, doing a green screen approach seems niche compared to just VR chat Neo, so just loading the environment in your tracking app somehow. I know tracking world lets you load Unity scenes. Yeah, well, that's one of the benefits of using Unity, right? Is that Unity has really good integration with just a lot of random stuff. Or a lot of things have really good support for just Unity whatevers. Ooh. Okay. Will you implement some kind of breathing animation that 2D models have to make models feel more alive? I don't really know how to do that. The idea, right, is that since I have the debug console, so the debug console works off of runtime script compilation, so I can reuse a lot of that logic for, you know, for all kinds of stuff, right? Like you might notice that the duck actually has a very subtle, like shimmy, like side to side, right? But not like with the head, but with the body, right? So the duck model actually has a built-in shimmy. So that's the idea that I was going with, is that you could probably, you know, take this script and then just add your own shimmy, just based off a script, you know? It's very close to how, you know, JavaScript works, where you can just add in whatever you want. So if it's possible to do in Godot, it's possible to do in my program. That's basically it. And don't let anyone tell you, or don't let anybody tell you otherwise, but my program is working in export mode, release mode. I think a lot of people are under the incorrect assumption that you have to be in debug mode to hot load scripts. So in debug mode, you don't get the full performance of GDScript, of which like GDScript is about equivalent to Python, but it's fast enough. All right, what else do I need to do though? Oh, I need to do presets, and then props can work, or props can wait because props are kind of complicated. And then I also need to redo this part. This is ugly. This is also kind of ugly, but this can stay for a little bit. Settings is fine. I need to figure out some general settings. About needs to be implemented. That's not hard though. I already have an about page like pseudo implemented kind of like here. Like I would probably use the same implementation here. So I have a thing called stream stuff runner. How cool. That I use to run all my stream stuff. Heath with breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Isn't there there's a song called Breathe In? Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, there's a song called Breathe or Breathe In. Breathe in saliva. It's a song, right? Or is it? It's not called. It's a song called. It's a song by Saliva. Breathe by Saliva. Is it not? Maybe not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not called that. Ignore me. With breathing, kind of like triggered my nostalgia for some reason, but I don't know what the song is called. I'm gonna head out for the night, but I'll be back for future streams. Oh baby, he's done it. I think I'm also almost done. But yeah, I know that KT like raided and stuff, so much appreciated for that. Let's find someone else to raid though, because this is also when I usually start to stop. Yeah, I guess we'll raid Doohoo. Why not? They seem to be in the same community. I don't know if they're doing Godot though. I'm guessing your other duck. Yes. Uwu. All right, let's raid Doohoo. I'm not sure what they're streaming though, but they're streaming some sort of development, and I am following them, so get sent. Raid Doohoo. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live tomorrow from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on this again, trying to get this done for the Godot 2022 show reel. What else is part of my spiel? There's a GitHub. If you want to grab any of the code that I've been working on so far, it's there. Puppeteer. Check that out. Let me see. There's a Discord if you want to like ask questions or stay up to date on whatever the heck I'm working on. I usually post updates on just random bits of software that I do. What's another word for working on that I program? Yeah, there's a Discord. If you want to look at the bot, there's the repo that's also on my GitHub. Yeah, get sent. Goodbye.